Siren Santo dry hopped lager. Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer. Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. The sun is well and truly over the yardarm, and that means it's time for a beer. Been online with beer merchants and picked up a few cans of craft beer, and this was one of them. It's from the Siren Brewery. They're based in Berkshire, in the sort of western part, or on the way to the western part of England. And they're really good. They do quite a few beers for the supermarkets, and I've tried a couple of them. They do a stout, I think it's a breakfast stout, and it's really nice. And I've reviewed it on the channel. So I've got high hopes for these because I've not had a bad one from these yet, and I'm hoping this is going to be a good one too. It's a dry hopped lager, and these can be really hit and miss. Cloudwater do a really good one. Called a Little Hoppy Lager, but I've tried other dry hopped lagers and they haven't been all that. They've been too much like a pale ale, or just not impressive. And I see that the Germans are starting to do dry hopped lagers now as well. I think Bitburger are doing one, and I really hope it doesn't take on in Germany, because I really don't want them to turn their back on their traditions, because their beer is amazing, and it seems to have happened over here. I sort of touched on this before, but some of these, well, most of these craft brewers are not doing traditional British ales like the ruby ales and stuff like that, and I think it's a shame, because it's a legitimate style that, you know, is being relegated to the sort of obscure beers, if you like. Anyway, I'm going completely off on a tangent here. Let's get back to this beer. It's a 330ml can. It's a dry hopped lager. It's got some spiel on the back. I'll just read that out for you now. Santo is a distinctly Siren lager. Our take on the style is full American hops working in harmony to offer subtle tropical fruit notes with bright citrus flavours. It pours with a delicate haze and striking aromas. Saintly fresh but devilishly drinkable. Okay, that sounds good. What have they got in the ingredients? Water, malted barley, wheat, oats, fructose, hops and yeast. Why have they put fructose in there? That's a new one on me, because it's either usually dextrose or glucose, but fructose, I suppose, because it's natural, and it's the natural fruit sugar. I'm trying to look for the percentage on here, but it hasn't got it. This fucking better not be alcohol free. Oh no, it's not, it's 5%. Okay, now I need a drink after that. Let's get it home and see what's going on. Right, on the nose, out of the can. Wow. Pine notes there, not really tropical fruit that they're talking about. Grassy and pine hops. Maybe the faintest hint of grapefruit on there, but it's very pine heavy, if you like. Let's get into the glass. Now, I do question these hopped lagers and dry hopped lagers. I mean, I'm all for experimentation on that, but you know, it goes back to the old adage of, you know, you're competing with the macro brewers on lager anyway, and then making the lager even more specialist. I don't know. Well, there it is in the glass. There is virtually no head on that at all, but it's a lovely hazy golden colour with a fair bit of carbonation on that. What we got on the nose out of the glass? Oh, there's a bit more lemon citrus now. And it's starting to smell more like a lager. And there's some of that fruit that they're talking about as well. Yeah. Bit of mango and peach from that. The pine, I'm not really getting now, which is really weird. Let's get it down the hatch and see what's going on. Cheers. Right, on its own merits, as it is, very nice, very drinkable, nice hoppy, subtle hoppy flavours to it. Yep, there's some grapefruit on there and a little touch of mango, bit of lemon citrus too as well. Not really a malty back end on it at all. I wouldn't call this a lager, to be honest. It's more like a pale ale, I think, an American pale ale. Which I suppose the only difference is one's top fermented, one's bottom fermented. But the hops in this are quite subtle, but they're there, and you do get that fruity, grapefruit and peach sort of flavour and aroma from it as well. But you also get the lemon citrus, but there's no discernible malt in this at all. Mouthfeel is quite nice. There's some carbonation in that, and you do get it slightly on the tongue, but it's quite subtle as well. This was about $2.50 a can, I think it was, and as lagers go, I really wouldn't call it a lager, not in the traditional sense. It sort of threatens to taste like a lager, and then you've just got the big hops coming through. But it's okay. All in all, I mean, it's not doing anything wrong. Put it that way. The flavours are quite nice. Very drinkable. This is nice and cold. It's quite warm out there, where it was. And it's going down quite nice. But all in all, not a bad beer. So what's the verdict on this thing? Well, these dry hop lagers, they're sort of quite a popular style with some of the craft brewers out there, especially like companies like Camden and Siren are doing it now. It's like Cloudwater do one, but I do question what they're trying to achieve with that. I think lager should stay at lager, as lager, because you've got so much more options with the pale ale for packing the hops in. Maybe it's to try and get people to get the taste of hops. I know a lot of lager drinkers don't like hoppy IPAs and stuff like that, and maybe this is trying to wean them on there because it's quite subtle. If it is, fair enough. That's the only reason I could see why you'd want to do that. Me personally, I much prefer Helles, proper German Helles and German lagers with the lighter malts and especially Czech Pilsners too. These hopped lagers, I mean, they are nice on their own right, but I wish they wouldn't call them lagers. I know they are technically because they're bottom fermented and all that, but yeah, they're not. I don't know. It's just a weird one on me anyway. Just one of my quirks about dry hop lager. Anyway, I would give this, on its own merits, I'd give that a 7 out of 10. It is nice. I mean, it sounds like I'm knocking it, I'm bashing it. I'm not. I'm sort of questioning the style, but this is a nice drink, and I wouldn't expect anything less from the Siren Brewery because they're good. I'd give this a 7 out of 10. And I'd recommend it if you're a lager fan and you just want to try and get into that, that bitter, resinous, grapefruit type hop flavour that you get in the big IPAs that you're not too keen on. This will be like a starter pack, if you like. But yeah, 7 out of 10. I recommend it. Yeah, you just got to weigh up the cost, as I say. It's certainly better than the Guinness dry hop lager, anyway. Put it that way. Not as good as the Cloudwater dry hops. But there you go. And remember, beer is working class champagne.